Very quickly, all right, we've charted the gradual sliding downhill of Jaguar. Last series we spoke about the diesel. Now it's got an awful lot worse. The new X-Type Estate. This is an Estate Jaguar front-wheel drive.
What's with that?
That's dreadful.
Well, it's an awful idea, Jeremy.
Well,
Look
if
at
you've
that.
got a dog, now you can have a dog in a cat.
Oh!
No, I just don't see what's wrong
It
with it.
looks like a Mondeo. It's terribly
It is a
depressing.
Mondeo.
It's very sad.
What have you got?
Stagecoach. These are the bus operator people. They've come up with something remarkable. It's a 94-seater double-decker coach which will take you between Oxford and London or Glasgow and Edinburgh for £1. And they've said, we're going to take the frills out of bus travel. What? But believe it or not, OK, I said, well, what are... But there were some. They've taken out the telly, the woman at the front with the microphone who points out the Tower of London, and the lavatory.
What?
There's no lavatory on the bus.
Do you have lavatories on buses?
Don't worry about it, Jeremy.
Does
You never
anybody
have,
here
you never
know?
will.
Do they have a
Of course
lavatory?
you have
Of course
lavatories
they
on
do. Have you
buses.
not used one?
You've got a Lotus Exit. Actually, that's why you'd go on the bus, obviously.
Have you never tried the lavatory? You've never
I've
been
never
on a
been
bus?
on a bus. What are you
I
on
can
about?
show you how they work. Look, you sit next to somebody like that, but there's a little wall about that thick.
He's parking his breakfast.
Trousers round ankles.
I'm reading Woman's Own because I'm, an 85-year-old
And you just drive along the
granny.
M40 like that.
And you're having
I'm
number
getting
two.
rid of... Yes.
Is
He's
that what
reading
it's
the
like
paper.
on a bus,
Yes.
and now they've taken the lavatory out?
Yeah. But what really amazes me is this, OK? It's got 94 seats. They say we can sell the seats for £1. To maximise profits, they've taken out the lavatory, which is obviously the size of one seat. So they've made an extra £1 by delivering a load of constipated people to Oxford.
The next thing that's going to happen is people will be with Primus stoves cooking their lunch on the floor and live chickens, and people arriving on the underside of Eurostar from Azerbaijan will see one of those things go by and think, we've gone around a big circle. I'm back in Azerbaijan again.
Got to
This is the
return one.
third world, for God's sake.
Actually, if there's no lavatory, they should just get rid of the back window and have a plank with holes in it. In fact, that's just like following a rugby tour, because they've always got their backsides. No different.
Seriously, though, Stagecoach, I've worked this out. If you want this business venture to be a success, seats for £1, 94-seater coach, don't take the lavatory out of the bus, make every seat a bog. Right?
Brilliant. Perfection. You could all read the paper. It's rubbish, isn't it, that? Yeah. I'm going to talk about the new Ferrari. It's called the Scaglietti, and it replaces the 456, so it's the new four-seater, and it's gorgeous. And Jeremy's
much is
wrong.
it?
It's about 150, just under 150,000
How big's the engine?
It's 4-point-something litres, 4.6. It's 540 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 4 and a bit seconds.
I don't like it.
You're so wrong. It's a very good-looking car.
Can we just stop spinning the tape? Hold the tape there. That does not look like a Ferrari.
Not your schoolboy idea of wedge Ferrari. It's
The
a
problem is,
grown-up
it's
Ferrari.
designed by Pininfarina, OK? Now, Pininfarina's top designer at the moment is a man called Ken.
Yes.
Now, people called Ken are people you borrow lawnmowers from. No great person in history. It was not Ken Rembrandt. It was not Ken Chopin.
There's never been a Pope Ken, has
No,
there?
there has been a King Kenneth in England, but that was a Kenneth, like Kenneth Kendall. That's allowed, but not Ken. You can't have a Ferrari Ken. Actually, it's an interesting case in point. When was the last, and you're invited to join in here, when was the last really good-looking Ferrari?
456.
456 now. Look,
Yeah.
575 is a fabulous looking car.
355 looked good when it came out, but dated, and actually now looks
Footballer's
quite old.
Ferrari, and he had one.
It's the ball!
No!
What do you think?
I always like the 412 series.
The 412.
Oh, dear.
You've got a beard.
Beard alert!
Your opinion. It's all slick down here.
What don't you like about that? I don't actually like it very much. I'm just interested to know what you don't like about it.
I'm not.
It's got no arse.
Neither of you anymore. You've lost quite a bit of weight, haven't you, since the last series?
I was hoping you'd notice, actually. Look at that.
No, that's not your arse,
So
that's
much
your
we could have made
stomach.
another hymn out of what I've lost.
True.
There must have been a good-looking Ferrari. Ignore Beardy. There must have been a good-looking Ferrari between the Daytona and now. What? What, the 288? The vampire, I reckon's got it. The 288 GTO in blood red.
Sat up from his coffin.
Steve Strange over there.
Yeah.
He's worked it out.
Announced the new Mini, you remember, what, 4 years ago, something like that. They've been saying, oh, there's going to be loads of really exciting, wild and wacky versions of it. We'll do like a mini flatbed pickup and a mini cement mixer and a fire engine and one of those things for getting into aeroplanes, all based on the Mini. Well, they've finally got round and done it. A Mini new version, and it is a Mini Estate, which isn't quite as exciting as we'd hoped. But what do you reckon they've done? It's a German car, it's a French engine, of course, but they've decided to make it British. They've wanted to give it something quintessentially British. So what do you think they've given it that just says...
Queen.
No.
A Beefeater.
No.
Edward Fox.
No. A what?
A hearse?
No. What they've done is fit it with some teaspoons and tea bags. That's it.
That sort of thing really annoys me.
We should do a car that's quintessentially German.
Well, just replace the spoons with little sausages in
No,
clips.
no. Give it trafficators that go like that. A sat-nav that only goes to Poland. Ein fan belts that will last for 1,000 years.
No, I don't think so.
Now, this is very important. Suzuki, I think, may have come up with a car to replace our reasonably priced car, you know, our beloved Liana.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate, it's small, it looks a bit cack, and it's ridiculous. Do you want to see it? Here it is. It's the Suzuki LC.
Oh, that's not good.
You say it was called the LC?
It's the LC.
Oh, the LC. Because did Tokyo Motor Show this year, they've really got into their stride on names for cars, the Japanese. I've got some here which I picked out, OK? This is called Mom's Personal Car.
Well,
that's his actual name. Mom's Personal Car. And there's a van, OK? You want to guess what that's called?
Dad's personal van?
No, you're quite wrong. It's actually called the Vanus Hobio Travel Dog.
Why didn't we guess?
And my absolute favourite, and there's a picture of it here, is the Honda Wonderful Open-Hearted Wagon.
Snappy name. Snappy.
That's great. And the dog. Perhaps it's a British one, look. They've got the Queen's dog there.
Tell you what, though, best thing about that car isn't actually the name. It's the interior. You'll never guess what they've fitted it with inside, OK? Here it is. I don't know if you get the dog or if you bring your own dog. I'd like to see you get my Great Dane in there.
Right, now, there's a new motoring website come out. It's for homosexuals. It's a motoring site for homosexuals. Do you know what they've called it? No, not Top Queer. So that's very good. Very good. That's better than what they've come up with. That is actually better. They've actually called it, we got it here, Top Gayer. I like Top Queer more.
Yeah. Well, set up a rival one.
The best thing about this, OK, because I went and checked this one out, and
Did you?
yeah, the editor is called Rich.
Oh, come on, it's not...
No, he's put a CV of himself in, and he says he lives in the Cotswolds.
Well, yeah, I do.
He's got a 4x4.
Yes, I have, but look, I'm not moonlighting as the editor of a gay website, OK?
He's got a dog.
Yes, look, it's not me.
He's had his teeth whitened.
I haven't had... I have not had my teeth whitened.
What, they've just become white?
In the same way that yours have gone green. It's it just happens to your teeth.
Anyway, listen. If you are a homosexual and you want to know about cars, write to Richard Hammond at Suspiciously Neat House, Dog Lane, the Cotswolds.
Thank you.
Now, have a look at this. This is an electronic device. It's called the Quick Start. It costs £9.99. You stick it in your cigarette lighter when you're driving in France, and when you turn the car on in the morning, its little electronic voice reminds you to drive on the right.
That might be useful if you're
Reasonable.
a bit thick.
Sounds like a good idea. Actually, it's a complete waste of £9.99. When you get up in the morning, all your luggage has been stolen from the boot and your car's just a burnt-out shell, you'll know you're in France anyway, so why do you do that?
Sure, you don't need it.
It's a fair point.
That is a fair point. Hey, you know the police have got no way of testing drivers for drugs? Now, you might think, well, so, it's not a very big problem. There's only so many Pete Dohertys driving around. Well, a study has shown this week that at any one time, 20% of young drivers on the road are under the influence of drugs.
20%?
1 in
blimey.
5. It's a staggering statistic.
There's one.
How did you... How did you get here today? What? You flew? The sirens brought in.
Peugeot 306 spaceship. The thing is, as a result of this problem, the police have had to introduce special tests for drugs.
What tests?
I don't know, it didn't say, I haven't looked up. I mean, I'm imagining it's things like they, you know, wander up, tap on the window and say, would sir like a Jaffa cake? Feeling peckish?
Well, that works for cannabis. It's not going to work for cocaine, though, is it?
No,
That's
you're
going to
right.
have to be... Why don't you tell us a little about yourself? Well, I will, actually, since you mention it.
That's
Born in
true.
1960, that would get
They'd
on
have to
a bit.
vary it. Ecstasy would be easy, because they just say, roll down the window, now, sir, do you love me? Do you want a big hug? Come on, you're
Do you
nipped.
love me? Don't let him drive home.
Take him away.
Don't let him drive home.
To test for speed, they'd have to give the driver a Hoover.
Eh?
No, you know when you're at a big party, at the end of it, everybody's asleep. The bloke who's on speed is always hoovering.
The rock and roll years with James May.
You can just imagine the hotel. Oh, I hope Mr. May hasn't trashed his bedroom. Oh, it's immaculate.
Let's get it back to cars, okay?
Well, why not?
Or nearly. There's a new truck, okay, coming from America. Here it is. It'll be on sale in Britain in July. It's called the Dodge Caliber. Right-hand drive. Do you want to know how much that is? 11,500 quid.
Is that all?
Yeah, 11,500 quid. That is what? 6 times less than a Range Rover.
Yes.
How have they done that?
Well, it's 6 times smaller than a Range Rover.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not joking. It is actually the size of a Golf. It's a 1.8 two-wheel drive family hatchback designed to look like that. They're actually in trouble in America because they've been advertising and they've dubbed the V8 soundtrack over the ad.
To make it look big.
Yeah, they've just got, look at this, and it's tiny.
It's like me, that car.
It's not.
It is because people think it's further away than it really is. I get it all the time. People come up to shake my hand and they stick their finger in my eye. They're like, oh, I thought you were over there and you're here.
No, that's absolutely right, because I'm often talking to someone about what a cock he is, thinking he's right over the other side of the room.
And I'm
And then
here.
actually he turns out to be standing right next to me.
The things I hear like that.
That is the world's most pointless car.
Good.
Embarrassing.
But they're all racing drivers. Couldn't they have lent him a crash helmet to hold in the appropriate way?
It was his crash helmet that caused the problem in the first place. Now, news from the Director of Public Prosecutions, who I discovered in the paper this week is called Ken something or
Not
other.
called Ken.
Ken is the name of a man you borrow a stepladder from,
Yeah.
not the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Ken has announced that there's a whole raft of new motoring offences for which you can go to prison, OK? One of them is retuning your radio.
No, don't be stupid.
Seriously?
Well, what if the Archers comes on? Ooh. I can't listen to an episode of The Archers in the car without losing my temper and having a crash, deliberately, to end it.
Ken has decided that we will have to tolerate these things because you're not allowed to retune the radio. You're also not allowed to put lipstick on.
Again? What? No.
But get this one, you're not allowed now to be an undertaker.
What? Hang on,
Are you
Undertaker.
an undertaker? You're an undertaker, you're going to prison. Ken says if you undertake someone...
Oh, hang on.
Well, I've always had a bit of a beef about this because I reckon if you go past someone on the inside, there's room to do that. There was room for them to have got out of the way in the first place. It's them. They're the ones who should be prosecuted. They can't find prisons to put paedophiles in, but they're going to be putting him in it for being an undertaker. It's ridiculous.
Well, actually, they can't find the paedophiles, because 300 have gone missing.
I know where they are. If you drive down the outside lane of a motorway now, not retuning the radio at 50 miles an hour, OK, you are immune from prosecution, OK? So it's the ideal place to go if you're being looked for by the law. So therefore, anyone doing 50 in the outside lane of a motorway is a child molester.
Wow, that's amazing. You've used logic logic there. That's incredible.
Argue with that. Hey, now, can I just say, OK, it's been a while since we sat here as a group, as you know, so I thought it would be a good idea just to canter through a few of the good cars and bad cars we've driven while we've been off air. And I have to say, good cars for me, Lexus. Particularly, actually, the GS, the one in the middle.
I'm with you.
The hybrid one, though. No, this one, OK? This looks like a normal car. Great thing is, OK, its batteries will only take you less than a mile, which means most of the time you're on the V6. You know, you're chewing fuel, you're warming the world up, everybody's happy, OK? It's very quiet, it's very fast, it's very, very comfortable. And, of course, you can drive it to London, do U-turns on Piccadilly all day long. Ken Livingstone can't charge you a penny. Brilliant car, that. It's a properly brilliant car, that. I'm going to put, like, a little 9-volt battery in a Hummer.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid. Oh, hey, now, you know McLaren are working on a new supercar? Well, given what's happened in Formula One this year, we've been able to speculate on what that will look like. Here it is.
Yes. So that's a 430 Scuderia, isn't it?
It is,
Right.
yes.
And that's a kind of a new version of the 430, and it's a bit lighter than the standard car, a bit faster. It's got the flappy paddle gearbox on it, but it changes gear even faster, which is all great, but it costs £28,000 more than a standard 430.
I know, it brings us back to those lightweight supercars that we were reviewing last week, because what really annoys me is that you buy a Ferrari 430 and you think this is as good as Ferrari can make a car, and then a couple of minutes later they come along and go, no, actually, this is.
It's going to cost an extra £28,000.
But if you give us another £28,000, you'll have a car that's as good as we can actually make it.
Exactly right.
I think it's a bit like that Sainsbury's Taste the Difference cheese.
No, let me think about it.
Cheese.
Hold on a minute.
No.
No, it's not
it
like
isn't.
cheese.
No, that's not cheese.
No.
This is an analogy. But you go into Sainsbury's and you see cheese, and it costs a certain amount of money, but then next to it there's Taste the Difference cheese, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it tastes really nice.
The bachelor life.
No, but what I want to know is, why don't they just make all the cheese like that? Or do they just make that cheese and then make something that's a bit worse, price it lower and say, here's some rubbish cheese for poor people?
Hang on, I'm confused. So why
are you on this programme?
I'm right, aren't I? It is like, why would you deliberately make the cheese less good than you could make it?
It's a bloody Ferrari!
This is exactly my point. They've deliberately made the F430 less good than they know it can be, so they then bring out a more expensive one and put Taste the Difference on it and sell it in Sainsbury's. Well, they don't actually do that. But
Now
you know
you
what I mean.
confuse yourself, you poor old goat. Is it? Sorry.
Right. I'm moving it on. James has plainly gone quite mad. We're getting back to cars, because that's where we're supposed to be. There's a new mini estate car coming along. They're calling it the Clubman. It's got 5 doors, but they're not where you might expect. We've got a picture here, look. We've got 2 at the back. When you close those, there's a big line down the centre of the car so you can't see out the rear view mirror. Then you get 2 on this side and 1 on the other, and you can tell it's German.
How?
Because if you pull up in Germany with that, OK, to let your children out of the back, the only back door, they're on the curb. But they don't switch it round for right-hand drive. So if you pull up in Britain, open the back door to let the children out, they're in the middle of the road.
So what they're really saying is British children are less important than German children.
That is the advertising slogan for that car.
Is it?
No.
I think that's a bit like Tesco's own brand bean.
There you go. Yes, mate. You sit in your armchair, love. They'll be round in a bit.
Love?
Shall we get on? 5th gear news. You know, we revealed last week they'd burned our furniture. Well, it turned out that this week, one of their presenters caught fire. Jason Potato.
Plato.
Well, actually, baked potato now. No, really, he was belting down the runway at Bruntingthorpe. His car caught fire. He was quite badly injured, actually, to go to hospital. He burnt his hand and his face and what have you. We wish him a speedy recovery. I'd just like to say thank you, God. Well, it's a Sunday show. He likes Top Gear more.
No, God's on our side.
I think
He sent his son along this week. Look, Jesus has come.
Has come amongst us.
The Son of God does not go to 5th gear. He doesn't.
That's never been said before.
No.
Oh, bad news.